How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
Stargazer, you call the shots. Stargazer, won't you kick it with me?
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. You know, I just interviewed Charles Peterson, famed photographer of the, basically the entire history and explosion of the Seattle grunge movement, going all the way back to getting some of those early shots of Mother Love Bone. And there aren't many, you know, like they were gone by the time all that other shit was exploding. So, and, you know, of course, in the age of no one having an iPhone, there's very few photos and video of Mother Love Bone. There's some stuff online, but not a ton.
I've seen a few, but I haven't seen a whole lot.
Most of them were taken by him.
That's cool. I'm actually thinking about buying a new camera.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to, but I'm. You know, I talked to you guys about wanting to buy a used cinema camera just for like recording. I wanted to do some kind of project.
Porn.
And
only Lyles.
Well, you could get
only plops.
Well, you know, guys got to make some money around here, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can't, you know.
I'll support you, Lau. I'll sign up, buddy. I might not watch the content, but I'll send you a little money.
Nice.
Yeah, there's got to be a way for a buddy to help out another buddy with their OnlyFans without even risking having to see it, right? I guess that's Patreon.
Yeah. I did support one friend that did OnlyFans, and
oh, shut up.
I did. It's the only time I've ever subscribed to OnlyFans. That's not true. I did. After I did that, I did subscribe to one other girl, and I was like, this is fucking expensive. But
you got to set those reminders to cancel.
Dude, you really do. I bought that bitch Netflix for like 6 months, man. But
just give her your login cheaper.
I did support a friend, and God, I think we've had her on the podcast actually. I'll say her name. Fuck it. She promotes her own OnlyFans, but Jax from Extra Life, and she had the Sarcastic Gamer podcast.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Marsha. Oh God, maybe whatever. Who fucking cares?
Marsha,
yeah. She. But I was like checking her OnlyFans out, and I'm like, this is fucking hot. I feel weird. Yeah, I feel weird looking at this.
Well, that's part of the pledge.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like that's my buddy's butthole. It's funny that they advertise it. Someone just literally told me yesterday that they are launching, you know, for the very first time doing anything like this, launching an OnlyFans. But she's not telling anybody. And she's doing the thing that a lot of people do when they do this kind of thing at first anyway. No faces, you know, just trying. And it was like, well,
that'll go the way of the buffalo.
Yeah, you can try that, but everyone's going to want faces unless you got something really special. And I'm not talking like your body. Yeah. I'm talking like what you are doing. You are doing.
Dude, that's a whole new thing in itself, dude. If you imagine like a chick that, you know, maybe she's a little fugly, you know, in the face. But
like Butterface?
Only fugs.
Butterface. Yeah.
I'd subscribe to only fugs.
But she's got a rocking body. And if she just wore like one of those geisha
Butterface, I believe, is what we calls them, or what some people calls them.
She was
sophisticated men like us.
We call them fugly.
She's beautiful, Butterface.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Fuck.
I think the intrigue on that, like the no face stuff, is like you get to maybe think it's somebody you know or somebody you have a crush on.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know that some people have made it a thing. But I think by and large, that's a pretty, you know, everyone wants to do that, I think, for the most part. It's like, but you're going to find that, first of all, OnlyFans, I was just reading about this because I was working on an article. I was researching. It's great to have a podcast and a magazine because you can literally get away with anything. But it's true. I was working on it for the magazine because I know so many people doing it. And I did an article. A friend of mine used to do Chatterbait. She was a cam girl, but she was anonymous. I knew who it was, and she brought it up one time we were chatting, and she doesn't do it anymore.
Was this one of your house tenants, Rob?
No.
Okay.
No, it was. People tell me shit. You know, it's a blessing and a curse.
Sure.
And I do believe it's a 50-50 split. But for whatever reason, people are very comfortable sharing shit with me that, obviously I have no way of knowing if they don't just tell everybody. I never tell anybody this, but I've heard enough shit about people, and I know that people trust me, and I am trustworthy. I won't usually tell, and if I tell, I promise I'll do that. But you can't tell anybody. That whole thing, that whole
These lips are sealed until Tuesday
little...
when I podcast.
I tell them with my bestie, pizza and dish, and I mean deep dish. But and the other thing is I forget. Like I'm not that interested in your shit, so. You can tell me, and I'll be like, well, that's fascinating. But this was a fascinating thing. I didn't know anybody that was doing. I knew people that were doing full-on porn, but I didn't know anyone that was doing the live stream cam thing. And that's been around for a while, but it was new to me in terms of like actually checking it out. Something about the live stream stuff never really appealed to me, and it honestly still doesn't. I really can't get into Chatterbait because there are too many people doing that. It's just this nonstop ching, ching.
You get like 10 pages opened up on one monitor.
Well, it's just like, I would if I could, but actually multi-view. Well, you kind of have that as the preview, but it'd be kind of fun to have that as if you,
right,
maybe
that's why
a
I have 2
subscription
monitors, dude. Because I could like.
I have 6 monitors on this fucking bitch.
Well, there you
I
go.
can't watch enough porn, but
Set, baby.
it's just all the noise, and they do those remote control. I know that's not the right term, but the virtue, they got the little thing in their cooch, and you can, if you send a coin or whatever, it vibrates a little bit. But every time it does that, it makes that chime noise, and it's just like, how can people stand listening to that all day? Yeah, you can mute it, but then you lose. See, here's what I like. And the other thing about so many of these kinds of accounts, and a lot of why I can't get into any of that, it's just somebody sitting there saying, "Come on, babies, give me $5. Come on, baby." It's just like nonstop. That it's like, shut the fuck up. Just make with the titty. But there is this thing that a lot of people do on TikTok, where obviously it's got to be a PG version of it, but you can tell. The way that they're interacting with their crowd, that they probably have a link, and TikTok doesn't usually make it very easy. You can't get away with linking right to your page. You have to link to your Instagram or to your Twitter, and then you can link to your spicy page there. And I found that out after many months of watching TikTok. But what I like about that is that, and people can do the same thing on TikTok, of course, and they often do, where they're just like they're staring at the camera, not really talking, not really interacting. But the first time I actually subscribed to an OnlyFans wasn't somebody that I knew. It was somebody that I had been following on TikTok, and she's fucking hilarious, and she's interesting to listen to talk. And then she just it never even occurred to me to look into a spicy. It just didn't have that vibe. It wasn't overt. But then she mentioned it in, you got to speak in tongue with fucking TikTok. It's so ridiculous. But and I'm like, I'm gonna go check that out. It was only $5 for the first month. First taste is almost free. Yeah. And I subscribed a month, and it was I don't know. It was interesting because I did kind of feel like I know her, but it was a cool. I liked this person. Like I actually liked this human being. I thought she was interesting, and. So that adds an element to it that
I think Twitch is like that because it's only $5 to subscribe to any of them, and that's strictly on the low. That's no nude stuff.
Twitch,
and,
it's $5.
I think Twitch, to subscribe. Say you had a Twitch, I'd subscribe to you for $5.
But isn't Twitch? I thought Twitch. You can't do nudity and stuff on Twitch, can you?
No, you can't. You can't. But you tend to feel like you know the person after a while of watching them. And dude, you're like one of 1,000 people that are in that room at the time. So it's just like
parasocial relationships.
Oh, however special it feels to you, it's not.
Yeah, right. But I mean, when you first get into it,
pretty cool
and
for
not
them,
knowing any better, psychology, it's a fuckery, man. Because you could start feeling feelings like what I
call a parasocial relationship.
Yeah, it can lead to all sorts of trouble.
They call them the people like in the chat room. They call them what do they call them?
Simps.
was gonna say Sims about
Sims or something like that. Yeah, Sims. Yeah, Sims.
Incels. Well, look, not everybody is there being, creeping or
Sure.
lingering. I tend to be a lingerer, not because, I mean, I just don't have anything to say. But, a lot of the people that I follow on TikTok, they'll stream every day. I've talked about this before. There's something pretty fucking unique about that. I mean, it's relatively new in that format. But if you think about it, I don't know if you guys ever got into like morning talk radio, or if you had like,
Sure.
you'd be in the car and you'd be like, oh, I can check out so and so, and you feel like you get to know them, and it's every day, and they a lot like the podcast, but every single fucking day, and you get in this routine. And TikTok is interesting because you don't even have to really think about it. You just fire it up for the day, and if you follow them and you're regularly watching them, it'll pop up if they're on. And it's like, oh yeah, this person, hang out with, and it's like hanging out with them. You put it on the background, do your work. But people telling interesting stories is people telling interesting stories. That's always going to be enough to stick around. The tits and ass, we talked about it before, and you guys poked fun. It does get old, and again, on TikTok, it's so restricted. And I could go and watch porn if that's what I wanted. But the getting to know folks and just that everyday slice of life stuff, and you do get to know people's stories. People have that with us to some degree when we're doing it weekly, though. That's nothing like daily. And recently, we've been lucky to do it. It's funny, we had this dialed in at one point. Like, we're going to go do 2 at once. And but God, life just got extra crazy. But I'll say this, one thing about missing about a month, it feels like a pretty slow news month. Yeah, I can't think of.
I don't know.
Anything happened recently?
30 or 40 massive
president got shot.
things that ever fucking happened. It's like non-stop, and I'm like, what a hilarious time to not be talking.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much, and it's like, I want to talk about some of it, but also it's like, does anyone care at this point? So much of it is old news.
Yeah.
But I've also had
That
some.
happened 2 weeks ago. It's old news.
Well, that's what's crazy. Look at how much people were talking about the Trump assassination deal, and then
Now nothing.
And then Harris is now. I don't think she's not even like officially. Like there's procedures that has to happen.
She's basically the presumptive nominee at this
well,
point.
There's no question that everyone's watching. In terms of, well, let's see how they got time for the public to respond, and the public is responding pretty fucking favorably on the left. Obviously, nothing is going to make the people on the right happy, but I can tell you that they're sad that they no longer have a walking mummy for Trump to go up against, because
for sure.
Now Trump is the walking mummy. And it's so funny because just watching a few, I don't know much about Harris at this point, but she's well spoken and she sure looks young. So we shall see. But it's like, this was one of the biggest fucking things that was crazy. The Trump shooting thing was crazy, and there are so many crazy things surrounding it. It's like, no matter what you believe and what side you're on, I feel like most of us are kind of going a little conspiracy on this.
Well, dude, the whole fact of the matter is it was live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You remember when you were a kid? Did you watch the Discovery explode?
I can never remember the challenge.
Yes.
You mean?
Because we were in school. I remember I was in school in class, and they brought a TV in, and we watched it all live. And
Crazy.
we literally watched the thing blow up.
I feel like I did, but I
and they sent us home. They said, hey, just go home, and because it was a tragedy, for the U.S. Could you imagine if that shot would have fucking landed? Live TV,
we'd be in a completely different country right now.
Trump would be like fucking three fucking bleachers up his head.
Well, and there's a lot of controversy about how people responded. And look, I feel like I've made it pretty clear on this program that I am no fan of Trump. Now, if Trump were to, say, choke on a ham Sammy and go to meet his maker, I'm not going to shed a tear. But to the people who actually think that we'd be in a better place right now, at least for the immediate and not so immediate future, if Trump had got his head blown off on live TV the other day, They haven't been paying attention to history because assassinations don't tend to be super crisp endings. It's not like that would have happened and they'd be like, well,
flip.
Okay, move on. What they tend to be is catalysts for things like Revolutionary War or Civil War or government coups or otherwise pretty serious unrests and potentially leading to massive periods, massive eras of unrest, and not just a temporary thing. But it got me thinking, like, God, they was so crazy in the '60s because, obviously Kennedy, and then Kennedy, and then Martin Luther King, and it was just like one after the other, and then Oswald getting shot. I think that was on live TV. It's just like everyone's getting fucking shot on TV, and we're so far removed from that. And that was, in spite of all the great rock and roll music that we see paired with it in every movie about the '60s, the footage of all the, the little black girls getting kicked because they're trying to walk to a white church, or, the dogs being sicked on people, or the Vietnam War protests and the assassinations. There's a lot going on in the '60s that we would not have wanted any fucking where near. And all the while the Vietnam War was going on and the draft was going on. It's like, this was a crazy, scary, rough time. And I kept thinking about, man, what a different world it could have been.
Not to mention like soldiers being spit on, dude, fucking coming home. That's Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy fucking time. But, yeah, I don't know. Everyone's going to blow off steam and everyone's going to say, I suppose, provocative shit online. And I saw all the memes. But there's so much weirdness surrounding this fucking thing. And it is really hard to see that picture of Trump giving the fist of defiance and the flag waving behind him and not think nothing about this is right. Yeah. And nothing about this should have been allowed, because the Secret Service usually they're trained and taught to completely damn near suffocate you like a fucking football dog pile until you're in safety. This was not a secure, you could hear somebody on the yelling the shooter's down. Well, that doesn't mean the fucking scene is secure. He how many fucking times did he pop his stupid head up and wave the fist? And he was not only putting himself in danger and all of the people who are there to put their life on the line for him, but all the people in the audience and the other politicians there. Like, every time he put his head out in the open, and he did it all the way right up until, and even when he got into the truck, he did one last time. All of those were times for another shooter to at least take a shot. And I'm like, why did it go down like that? Then you got how the fuck did everyone let this guy on the roof when minutes before the fucking shooting, people were saying, look, there's a guy on the roof. He's got a gun.
People seen him. People were sitting there saying, hey, get off the roof.
What is going on with this
thing,
he was there. What is going on with this?
That's just nuts. What I didn't understand, and something I was kind of curious about was, like, the shooter got off a few shots. It wasn't just one. He got a few shots off before he got murked.
Yeah, there are a lot of shot sounds. It's hard to know.
I didn't see any of the security detail get fucking hit. You figure they're all wearing level 3 vests underneath their suits.
Yeah, I didn't hear about any of them getting hit.
Exactly, and that's the weirdest thing. Besides the people up in the stand that unfortunately lost his life, the firefighter.
Don't you love all the fucking memes saying God steered that bullet away from Trump and put it into the fucking heart of the actual hero who died saving his fucking family? That shit's hard to see, but
I've seen I've seen a few of my friends posting the picture, the infamous picture you're talking about. And it was like the pictures posted, and the people I'm talking about will write things like, "We will not be intimidated," and I'm like, "Oh, it's we now." You're up there dodging bullets too.
Yeah, were you there? Which one were you? It's I don't know if I feel like we've talked about one of the big players, the key figures in the QAnon movement is this guy. I'm spacing his name. Maybe you'll remember. glasses, hat. For some reason, the QAnoners think that this guy is actually JFK Jr., but he faked his death. Do you remember this?
I don't.
He's
I'm
the
not
dude
into any of
that, like, everyone else behind Trump is, like, ducking. This dude is just, like, looking out, like what's going on? Like, he's looking, like, what? Wait, what was that? He's not.
Are you talking
ducking
about
at
the guy
all.
that was behind him?
Yeah, to our left. If you're looking, if you're watching the
Well,
TV,
yeah.
it's to our left. That's
Well,
what the fuck.
he
I
was a
gotta look
bigger
up
guy?
his name. Huh?
He was kind of a bigger guy sitting in the stands.
No, he
Is
looks
that
like a
what
little
you're talking
weasel.
about? Oh yeah, well no, I didn't see him then.
JFK.
I saw the.
Oh,
we're talking-
Vince. It's Vince
We're
something.
talking about two different things.
Vincent Fusca. Yeah, if you look at the footage, the straight on shot, the one that was aired, to our left, the viewer's left, you'll see a dude in a hat and glasses, kind of stubble and slightly shaggy hair. The whole time all this is going down, like Trump is down, surrounded by the Secret Service at that point. I don't know if they're actually Secret Service. This has been something that was debated. Like there were some Secret Service there and some bodyguards and some private. When you're not the active president, you have access to some Secret Service, I guess, and then some, like if you got to hire your own.
Well,
after
you have
some
it for the
number,
rest of your life.
something like that. Yeah, but there's something weird about that. Maybe it's just weird about this. I mean, everything about this was fucking weird. It's like I know a lot of people think that Trump set this up to look like a hero. I know a lot of people think that the left set this up to try to take Trump out. And then I've heard a couple of weird little in-betweeners. But again, it doesn't matter what you fucking think. It's hard to believe the narrative on this one as we're supposed to. You know what I mean?
Unwinds as it unwinds.
Well, I feel
because
like even the
been
mainstream
his-
media isn't really. I feel like the bulk of the conversation about this was how could this be? It's not like something, one or two things happened to make this possible. There was a lot of things that happened to make this possible. And then you got the Secret Service that, there's that one shot. Somebody was down to their right of Trump. And then so you can get that one shot of the snipers protecting Trump that were literally like aimed right at the fucking dude. Like the whole time just staring. And their one job is to scan to look for any danger and to shoot.
Did you see that clip of the one that just jumped up like he saw him right before he pulled the trigger?
Well,
You
it
could
was
see
right after he pulled the trigger.
Oh, was it? I
Yeah.
thought it was right before. Like
That's-
you could see him go, oh, like there's
No,
there's something.
that's what I'm saying. How the fuck didn't he see them? Didn't he see him on the roof? Now, a lot of people were saying there was a little lip on the building. There usually is, like
Well,
a little
supposedly they
ledge.
knew he was there the whole time.
What do you mean?
That's the fucked up thing. They knew he was on the roof.
Who?
Mhm.
The Secret
The Secret
Service?
Service.
The snipers.
I haven't heard that. I stopped following because I
Yeah,
got too
they
busy.
were underneath. They knew
He
he
was
up there.
waiting for them to get the okay to shoot, and they never got it until he fired. Then he fired on him, which is not the right way.
Well,
I don't
where did
think
you hear
to
that?
protect the president. It's been going through the news.
Like the
for
Secret
sure.
Service came out and I know there was that hearing just a day or two ago with the Secret Service. I caught a little bit of it live on TikTok, but again, I've been too fucking busy to delve into. I figured I'd get the main deets whenever something interesting came out, but I haven't heard anything about the Secret Service straight up saying, "Oh, we knew he was there."
The snipers said that they knew he was there for a long time.
Yeah.
And why?
And they pulled the they had Secret Service up in a building right next to that building, and they were actually told to stand down and leave the premises,
So what? So
which is weird.
So the
because,
snipers
like,
are
that's-
admitting this, but they're not saying why they didn't do
Not the
anything about
snipers.
it.
There's,
Well,
there's
maybe-
all kinds of wacky shit about all this, and it's just like
No.
I don't know
I
what
haven't
to
even
believe.
heard
It's
that
so
one.
obfuscated, man.
That's crazy.
I mean, maybe I'm just fucking devil's advocating here, but maybe they didn't think he was a threat. Maybe there are people on other roofs nearby. I don't fucking know. Like that seems pretty strange, right?
Well,
Well,
that's
it seems
the
strange that
thing.
they
It's-
didn't have
it's
their
like,
own
well,
men
you
on
know,
that fucking roof,
Yeah.
which is what everyone's
Yeah.
saying. Like, how do you leave it's the place. It's the place to get on top of if you're going to take a shot at the guy rats over there. And,
Right.
and they knew that because they had set up shop to be pointing right at that space.
And he brought his own ladder.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are you doing with the gun and a ladder?
There's footage of him pulling the ladder out and shimmering up, not shimmering, shimmying.
Shimmering. He's a vampire.
Shine bright like a diamond.
The whole thing is just
He got his fucking head blown the fuck off.
so many levels of fuckery.
And then we find out a little bit about the kid.
There's just so much going on where it's just like, what the fuck?
Well, look, I believe that there would be a crazy kid. And of course, he fits the pattern, but he would be, right? If you're looking for a patsy, you'd find somebody that fits the pattern. Again, devil's advocate, but I would believe that there's just this lone, crazed or depressed or whatever, somebody that hates Trump. God knows there are plenty of people out there that would take a shot at Trump if they could. But that would have gotten, that should have been quite literally shot down before he got anywhere near doing it. And the fact that everyone was like, he's got a ladder and a gun. He's putting the ladder on the building and strapping the gun on his back. Why, he's climbing the building.
Yeah, there's like civilians with video that are recording
him.
that shit. I was like, what?
It's got to be some of your jobs to stop him. Yeah, there's that one dude that's like,
the cop,
practically begging the cops, and the cops just like looking at him like, oh, we got right here. So what?
The
what
cops,
is it?
Confronted the guy, and the guy pointed the fucking gun at him, and the cop ran away.
Run away!
I'm serious.
He's got a gun.
That's what happened before he climbed the ladder.
Oh, you're in trouble when the cops go running from a gun.
Well, if a cop, I mean, come on, man.
It's because they know what an AR-15 can do.
Well,
was that what he had?
He pointed it at him.
Yeah.
So he ran. Instead of calling on for backup, he ran.
Huh? That's a weird choice for a sniper.
It's just that there's so many odd things. You know, nothing was by the book. You know, of any kind of situation.
And right down to Trump's injury, which is almost non-existent. But then you got one dead person. Someone got a close-up of his ear today, and it looked like he had a little pimple on it. It's like, man, that was...
He just got nicked.
Yeah, he got nicked.
Well, somebody said that they saw, or someone highlighted, like one of the teleprompters getting shot, and then a chunk of that, they hypothesized that a chunk of that is what actually hit his ear.
Yeah, no, he was shot. He got hit.
He was not shot.
I would believe the shrapnel more than the bullet too.
Trump?
Just from that, from the injury. Yeah.
No, he was shot. He definitely had blood coming down from him.
He was not shot.
Well, what I'm saying is, what this guy was saying was that one of the bullets hit one of the teleprompters, and that flicked a sharp piece of shrapnel up into Trump's ear. So I don't think anyone's really debating. Well, I guess I did hear people debating whether or not he got injured at all. But I'm not. But I wouldn't. I mean, what's the difference? He got shot at, and somebody died.
He got shot at. Yeah, for sure.
The question is, who and why and who set it all up? And it's like, boy, it seems like it can go. It can go all the Rashomon ways, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
depends on your politics how you're going to see it, I guess.
I don't even know if it's true or not, but like apparently both his parents were like psychologists.
The shooter?
Yeah. The 20-year-old kid.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that. I didn't follow it. The funny thing was, it's like, man, I was glued to the story for the first day, but then I just had to get on the shit.
These days is that you can't, like, there's so much information and disinformation coming out from all angles that you really don't know. You really can't tell what to believe. You just have to kind of like look at this and go, okay, maybe, and then look at that and go, maybe, I don't know, and then look at that. You know what I mean?
And how many suspects did we see on Twitter? Once again, internet gumshoes. This is the guy. So many people got named, and then to the point where those people had to get on like their social media accounts and live streams. Like, look, motherfuckers, I'm 3,000 miles away doing a podcast. That was not me. It's like, Jesus Christ. How about maybe this internet gumshoe stuff needs to start being controlled somehow? It can't just be this Old West mentality where anyone can just start. We have doxing laws, but there needs to be some serious accountability for people who are just putting up names and addresses and people's entire identity and saying 100%, because people are so fucking stupid and lazy and angry, and after something like this ramped up, that they'll just blindly reshare it. I mean, that's what happens. No one looks up shit anymore. It's like, oh yeah, there's, it's bias confirmation first of all, but it's also like, oh holy shit, there it is, and they want to be the first ones to announce to their friends, well, here's the shooter. I saw that all day long, and there's like 5 or 6 people. Now, one of them was the right guy, but there was a guy that kind of looked like him. I'm sure you guys have all seen this. And that guy got online and said, you got the wrong guy. And so people were saying, oh no, that's the guy they're telling us is the shooter. It's like, no, dumb fucks, that's who you 20 hours ago were saying is the shooter. You can't make your own conspiracy from something you said 2 hours ago.
Well, the only thing that got me like kind of concerned about it was the fact that there was no explanation for any of it from the FBI, the leader of the FBI, of what was going on and what happened.
Probably
I mean,
never will be.
it's I was never in the army or anything like that, but I know the military has these steps of power and whatnot, and she knew everything. She knew everything that was going down, what went down, but yet didn't play the fifth through the whole thing. Pretended stupid. I'm not gonna, I don't know what happened.
I didn't even see that either, but
no, it was during her trial before she stepped down.
Well, I know the Secret Service leader was given a lot of shit, and I guess no matter how you slice it, the Secret Service needs to be accountable for, they weren't following protocol either. Because Trump wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing and putting other people at risk, but ultimately the onus to get his fucking head down is on the Secret Service. They're trained to do that. You remember the footage of Ronnie Reagan getting shot at?
Oh,
they fucking pile drive that old dude and threw him into the fucking car.
And he was really shot.
Yeah, he got shot like 3 or 4 times, didn't he?
Yeah, dude, he was hit.
All because of Jodie Foster. What a fucking trip to find out that someone tried to assassinate the president because they're obsessed with you.
Isn't
they
that
just
weird?
wanted to get your attention. That's all it was about. That was Roy Hinckley, right? Or John Hinckley? Roy Hinckley?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, John Hinckley. Yeah.
Hinckley. Anyway, I mean, we'll probably never know. We still don't have. I mean, I think a lot of us have figured out which. No one believes the Oswald story at this point, right?
God,
I mean, no one believes that. So I think most people get behind the, the going theory of Johnson being behind it, and I personally do. I mean, but God, there's so many people that wanted him dead, and so many people that benefited from having him die, and so many shady characters around that presidency, and just existing in that time and place.
Well,
Similar thing with Trump. I don't think we'll ever get definitive answers.
Yeah, the thing with Kennedy is there's facts. I mean, there's shit that does not the magic bullet. What the fuck? I mean, there's some serious data that is missing.
But the CIA never came out and said, "Oh yeah, it was President Johnson."
Yeah, well, they should have. All that stuff's all should be open now. Well, it's all probably directed or whatever they call it.
I think part of the problem is that these are entities that still exist.
Redacted.
Like we still have the CIA.
I love erected though, because we all knew what he meant.
Erected?
Kind of makes sense. Erected.
It's kind of like
It's when you get kicked in the nards and you get an
that's
erection.
a dinosaur.
That's my favorite thing about the Lyle words. It's like we all know what he's saying.
Uh-huh. And they all could be words.
It's not right, but I love it.
I think it's the mix of the painkillers and the muscle relaxers talking. Yeah.
Well, anyway, another thing that I wanted to talk about was the Olympics kerfluffle, which was.
I haven't watched any of it.
So I haven't seen anything about kerfluff.
The opening ceremony. You haven't seen all this?
Are you talking about
Christians freaking out, thinking that
Dionysus or Dionysus? Yeah.
And it's like finding out that this actually really wasn't about the Last Supper per se, at all. And no, his testicles weren't actually dangling. That was clearly a fucking banana hammock painted blue. I guess if you haven't had testicle, although there was one dude in the background that I think had a ball popping up.
Actually that dude it was a hole in his tights.
Which the blue dude?
The guy in the background that they were saying his nuts were hanging out. It was a hole in his tights. And if you look at the picture closely, you can see that it was actually just a hole in the tights.
It looks like a nut. Yeah, that one looks like a nut. Sometimes you feel like a nut, but it happens so quickly. And then Gojira playing to
That was cool.
A satanic scene of a woman being beheaded. And of course, that was part
Marie
of
Antoinette.
France's history with Marie Antoinette. And it's just like all these memes popping up. It's like, well, I'm boycotting the Olympics, and celebrities weighing in and like, well, clearly, it's like, man, this might actually be. Well, I know it's a bigger satanic panic than the one from the 80s with the heavy metal and all that shit, but this might actually be one of the biggest satanic panics in the history of this nation. I suppose the witch trials, although the witch trials seem to be fairly contained, this is a much more widespread paranoid thing where people are just seeing Satanism everywhere they look and being embarrassed about it time and time again.
For decades, man. It's just more in your face now because of fucking social media.
I have not heard the word Satan as many times in my entire existence as I have in the last 3 or 5 years. I can't scroll through social media without somebody claiming that this hand symbol or this outfit or this necklace or this opening ceremony tableau is satanic. And
you don't remember when they did that to Katy Perry a few years ago? She did some thing, and they're like, "Oh, look at this Satan."
Yeah, that does sound familiar. I know they're going after Rihanna too for her Super Bowl because she was wearing red. Shine bright
stupid.
like a Satanist. Shine bright like a Satanist. Yeah, but the funny thing is, it's like there's this whole group of people that are just, no matter what, are never wrong. Like they will never, ever, ever cop to anything. There's no such thing as being like, oh, this wasn't, so they weren't actually making fun of Christ. And honestly, what if they were? People make fun of your fucking religion all the time. You make fun of other people's religion. People make fun of religion. It's called satire. So what if they were actually making fun of something that was personal to you? I didn't get anything out of what I saw that looked like the Last Supper, specifically, or
what happened?
Jesus
whatever happened to fuck your
specifically.
feelings? Did that go away? Does that not count anymore?
Only outwardly.
As long as it's not their feelings.
Yeah, only outwardly.
Got it. Okay.
You have to because this is the one true God, and God is America, and Jesus is an American, and Jesus is white. This is so fucking funny because we're talking about a blue dude who had a banana hammock and a fruit salad on his fucking dome. And these motherfuckers who are crying about it have a picture of Jesus in their living room wherein he looks like Brad Pitt, circa Thelma and Louise. It's like, you don't even care about Jesus. Like, how about we have a discussion about why Jesus doesn't look like a Mideastern Jew on your wall? Maybe we should have that uncomfortable discussion. I know why he doesn't look like a Mideastern Jew. Do you? Fucking ridiculousness. But Satanism. And it's more ridiculousness that binded all these excitable goobers together, and the ramping up continues. And after all of this, I have seen so many wonderful and clear and non-insulting explanations of what was actually being represented in that opening ceremony. So many things and so many references that you could point people to confirm. No one wants to do it. Of course not. They're doubling down, if nothing else, and it's just like, you guys can occasionally be wrong, but no. And that's a big thing with the QAnoners. They are never wrong about anything. They'll pick a date. It's happening. It's going to happen next Tuesday during the eclipse. Oh, next it's on New Year's. Oh, the banks are going to collapse. Oh, the National Guard, they're taking over. They're doing it right now. Oh, did you hear that they just executed Obama? It's like, I feel like some of this might have made its way to the mainstream news. Oh, you're kidding yourself. Oh boy, you're such a sad sheep. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And this is another thing that drives me crazy. Is like, okay,
look it up.
I get what mainstream media is. Trust me. I understand it's entertainment. Also, we have seen time and time again clear evidence of bias. No one's going to deny that. But what you cannot convince me of is that you are actually going to have all of these huge, massive stories wherein millions of people know about it, but no one's actually getting the word out except on your little Trump social media account and on these QAnon forum groups. That's the only place where the truth is getting out. I don't care how left-wing or how right-wing or how anti-American, for that matter, you are. There's no journalist that is going to pass up breaking something as big as, I just found proof that Obama was secretly executed in Club Gitmo last month. There's no fucking way that you're going to have a lot of people listen are probably like, what are you even fucking talking about? This is like one of 1,000 conspiracy theories.
It's best if you don't know.
Pile up, and they never go backwards. It's just like, oh no, Obama's dead. Of course, they all think that Biden died a long time ago, and he was replaced with a very stalwart and impressive specimen. I still don't get that one, but anyway. Can't reason with these people. You can't fucking reason with them. They think that they have peaked beyond some, a peak behind the matrix or however you want to fucking word it, even though they haven't. They're just following and listening to a very tiny group of provably whack job people, or at least provably counterfeit people. Most of these people don't even believe what they're saying. They're just selling you some shit because you're paying for it. And that is enough to keep them thinking they're right. It's the goddamnedest time to be alive, man. Whew, what a month. And then we might have another potential female president nominee. That's big news. I know people are arguing about what race she is, making all sorts of sexist jokes. And I was like, all right, or we can just vote for her or not vote for her. Could be a very, very interesting November. But the reason we got going down this is because I think one of you mentioned, or maybe I mentioned, that we're behind the times here because we haven't been podcasting. But no one's talking about the assassination attempt anymore.
No.
I mean, I saw someone zoom in on the ear. That's the last thing I saw. I was like, wow, that healed fast. I was like, I don't know what the fucking injury was to begin with, so I can't weigh in. That's the only thing I've seen about it. It's all Harris. It's all about the Olympics. And it's all on to other fucking things. That's pretty wild. If that was a setup...
Almost seems like it was planned, huh, Ron?
Well, if it was a setup to make Trump look like this big Rambo hero, it's immediately erased. The polls have completely shifted. He did have a bump. There was a Trump bump. Not just the one on his ear. But not much of one. And I don't know if that would have had... if nothing else had come along and that the story was still gaining steam, or if this had happened just like, if this had happened like late October, I think this would have had way more power in terms of the election. But yeah, old fucking news. We're on to the next shit already. So it's erased and as far as helping Trump. But it doesn't mean I'm not saying that it was staged. I remember the first time I texted you guys when I saw something, I was like, man, this looks staged.
Remember that?
That was the first thing I said. And then the more I looked at it and I saw that was way before the footage of the shooter was slow to come out, even though it was everywhere. Like, I kept looking for it on social media, and it took hours and hours for me to start seeing the footage that people were posting. Once I started seeing some of that, I was like, well, I don't know. It just, all I know is that, do I believe it could have been staged? Sure. But one thing I know about Trump is he is a media whore, and even if it wasn't staged, the way his brain works is, of course, he's going to risk his own life and the lives of everyone around him for that fucking photo op. And so it could have just been that. And there were all sorts of people that got shots, similar to the one that the guy got. The one that made that one the one was because the flag was so perfectly draped behind him. That
we got lucky. It was a good shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, unlike the sniper. You know what I'm
saying? Stormtrooper up there, Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's good. That is good. Well, anyway.
That might be a good Photoshop thing as a meme.
Yeah.
Photoshop a little white little Stormtrooper up there.
I want to say that relative to this, I watched a fucking gripping movie recently. It's been on my list since it came out in the theaters a few months ago, but I finally had a chance to watch Civil War, the Alex Garland flick. Same director did Ex Machina and Annihilation. Did you see it, John Mark? I heard you making noise.
I haven't watched it yet. No.
I thought it was really good because it's it's exactly what's happening in our country, like where you see if it could go in a really bad way.
Yeah.
Right.
And the story isn't about that though. It's about these war journalists just trying to capture what's happening. So it's about them. So you never really know. Like the story starts and you hear that several states have seceded from the nation, California and Texas, and are waging a war against our government basically. And they're just on the journey to Washington D.C. to try to, capture what's happened and share it with the nation.
Yeah.
And they pick up this. This is like all kind of trailer shit. I'm not going to spoil much from here on out. But they pick up a young girl that wants to be a war journalist desperately, in like her early 20s. And as the movie progresses, they're in these scenarios, and she'll be taking photos, and she'll jump out in a war zone and click a photo, and it'll just pop up on the screen, the black and white photo that she just took for like 1 second, and then you're back into the movie. And they do that throughout some very intense sequences, and it's very powerful. It's I do recommend checking it out if you get a chance. Great flick, little touchy subject matter perhaps, but
yeah. But it doesn't sound like they're weighing in politically one way or the other necessarily.
Yeah, but what I will say is they did a really good job not making it clear which side was which.
Yeah.
You're not like, you never really feel, you can feel like no matter where your political leanings are.
It's getting harder to tell anyway.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
Have you guys been watching The Boys at all?
I watched the first 3 episodes of this last season, but I haven't. That's about where I'm at.
You know what? Okay, so I just finished up the latest season a couple days ago, the last couple episodes, and like was fucking insane to me is how much that shit was written and shot before, like way before all the shit that's happened in the last couple 3 weeks, right?
Sure, yeah.
But in that, particularly the last episode, there's some shit that happens in there and some things that they say that you're like, what the fuck? This is way too close to reality. So either we're living in a fucking simulation, or somebody watched that shit and was like, hey, let's do that. Or you know what I mean? Yeah. It's fucking nutty how close it is to what's happened. Like what happened in the last couple weeks.
The Boys?
Yeah.
It's about if superheroes were real, how awful it would be. And yeah, they would be awful people. And
that's a good premise.
It's gory, and it's like the government gets involved
and controlled by
corporations. Yeah, it's a great watch
name.
On Prime, isn't it?
Like The Boys sounds like.
You haven't seen it, Lyle?
No, I'm aware of it. My brother had actually watched it all, but
it is.
I have a hard time getting into shit.
Watch it on.
It's a great show.
I think a lot of people are like predisposed to like kind of like putting it aside because they're like they've got like Marvel and DC burnout or whatever. This is not like standard superhero shit.
And it's got the same level of gore and fucking and nudity as True Blood does. Like same kind of vibe.
Right. Yeah.
I was just thinking, I don't think I ever went back and finished True Blood, even though I started it. And I think I stopped the same place that I stopped the first time. Like I just haven't fucking finished it. I don't know why. I was kind of getting into it again, but
I highly recommend The Boys. It's fucking,
that's intriguing. I thought you brought it up before, but
it's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's got a couple seasons.
Right
It's a great show, a really good watch.
I'm sorry, where was it? Where do you find it?
Prime. On Prime.
Oh, good.
Amazon Prime.
I watched a marathon really quickly because it was a gripping show. Not a new show by any stretch. Silicon Valley. Did you guys ever watch that?
I've heard it's great.
It's fucking great.
I watched a bunch of like the first, maybe second season.
Yeah. It didn't grip you. I find it very oddly gripping. I mean, it's a comedy, but it's good at keeping you into it, and it's a fun one to stream. It's a little redundant. I mean, there's like, they kind of keep running into the same issues. It's basically just this little startup group in modern times. It's not like in the early days of Mac and IBM and Microsoft and all that. It's in modern times, but Well, at that time, I think it was like the show's 10 years old at this point. But one of my favorite parts about it is the little opening. It's like this little computer animated opening where it shows Silicon Valley, all these buildings popping up, and you see like Facebook getting bigger and bigger, and MySpace, like the sign gets taken down after a certain season. It's clever, but it's fucking hilarious. Like seriously laugh out loud in a lot of spots, but also just super awkward and oddly stressful. But highly recommend. It's Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead, who created the show. He didn't do all the directing, but I found it held my interest all the way through. So that's what I've been watching. And
I need to get back to that.
Yeah, it's worth finishing.
Speaking, I wanted to bring something up tonight and see how you guys felt about it. I fell down a weird rabbit hole on YouTube the other night of like vigilante To Catch a Predator type shows. Have you seen any of these?
Yes, it's like the TCAP. Like
I'm not sure the names.
It's TC. Well, it's To Catch a Predator. So TCAP. It's the TCAP community.
Yeah, and it's just like normal people like getting out there and baiting dudes to come meet them thinking they're a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, so interesting.
And like almost every single one has been like in a Walmart that I've seen for some reason. And they approach them.
Seems
Like
safe to
Taco
everybody.
Bell.
And they approach him in the aisle and they're like, "Yo, bro, what are we going to do with this 13-year-old girl tonight, huh, bro?" Like it's really, I watched a bunch of them and I don't get me wrong, like I like that there are people out there, maybe, this should be something that is, I know we have a lot of law enforcement working to stop this, but not enough, perhaps. But it always ends like kind of violent in these stores, and that for some reason makes me uncomfortable. Like, don't get me wrong, I think these fuckers deserve a good thrashing, but I love watching To Catch a Predator because Chris Hansen just like demoralizes them verbally.
Got a little Taco Bell there, huh?
Yeah, it's like he lures them in with this false sense of security and then just
it's
fucking
perfect television.
Yes.
I hate that it's not on anymore.
But these YouTube channels just make me feel a little icky for some reason.
Are you saying that they lure him there and then they like beat the shit out of him?
Yeah, they'll get confrontational with them, and to the point where they'll like eventually just pop them. They'll just hit him in the face or smack him or slap him. And like you can see they're scared, like because there's like 2 or 3 bigger dudes that are doing this. I assume behind camera mostly, but and like I said, don't get me wrong, I think they fucking deserve to be slapped around.
Yeah,
I think they deserve the worst of it, but I don't really want to watch that.
But you're a human.
Like it
weird
makes me
to see. Yeah,
and it's like in a Walmart aisle too. Like one guy rammed a cart right into him so fucking hard. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like,
yeah. See, like the rage videos and the fighting videos and stuff like that. I know they're blowing up and they have been over the last 10, 20 years really, but yeah, I got to a point where I can't. It's constant. Like it's constantly popping up on my feed, no matter where I'm at. And I'm not into it. I try to block it and get rid of it. I don't need that shit in my head. I don't care what the premise is. And I could get behind seeing a child rapist getting his ass kicked maybe every now and again, but it's not something that I need to marathon. But it's really interesting that you brought that up because there was just a local sting operation here in Wenatchee, and they were literally luring people in, pretending to be 13-year-old girls. And it was law enforcement. It was a big sting, a statewide sting, and they arrested 12 guys. Most of them were from the Wenatchee area, it seemed like, a couple from Spokane and the outskirts. One of them was a guy who was a very regular performer at the radar station open mics, and he has a very distinct name. I'm not going to say it, but and I'm like, oh shit, when I saw that story, I was like, what are the odds that there's another guy with that name in Wenatchee?
No.
And sure enough, I saw they all had to have their court hearing yesterday. And there's
so this is a friend of yours?
Oh, no, not a friend, and I'm not just saying that because of this. Never was a friend, but he was a regular. Look, when we did this, God, at this point, was it about a year ago or maybe no? I think it was earlier this spring. We did a pop-up open mic, like a radar station open mic reunion at a local like a rental, like this really cool space. It's called Host. They rent out spaces, and they wanted to do an open mic. And I'm like, well, why don't we make this a radar station pop-up? Then I bet I could advertise to all the people that still follow the radar station accounts online, and we could get a lot of the old regulars, because the radar station open mic was phenomenal, not just in attendance for the people that showed up to play and the quality of the performers, but in regular attendance to come watch. And so we all agreed to that, and he was one of the first people that I reached out to because he was such a regular, and he was getting better and better. And, you know, he wasn't my kind of musician, but a lot of people enjoyed what he did. And I'm pretty sure he was the first person I reached out to. So, no, not friends, but definitely someone who was in my world, more so several years ago. And I'm like, man, it's just like, you never fucking know, man. These people are among us, and they could be right. Like, we can hide so much in our private lives, you know? And he had a girlfriend, and I didn't know the girlfriend, but I knew people that knew, and they're like, I promise you, there's no fucking way she had a clue about this. And so he'd been doing this for years. It seemed like this. I mean, you know, you don't usually just wake up one day and say, I'm going to go fuck me a 13-year-old. So he was, he actually got one of the biggest charges. Most of these were, I think, like second-degree attempted child rape, you know, attempt to contact a minor for seedy things or something. He got charged with attempted first-degree child rape, and I looked that up, and it's like, it could potentially be like 30 or 40 years in prison. Just from
you know what they do to guys
one.
like that in prison?
Probably won't be. Well, you know,
they become the 13-year-old girl.
Well, that's what I was thinking. But then
it's the worst as you do.
Somebody posted something on Facebook, though, in this thread that I was finding all this out in, that there's actually more and more states, they have specific correctional facilities for child predators. And one of the reasons is it's probably not so much to do with rehabilitation as to keep them from getting killed in Gen Pop. So I don't think that's as big of or as much of a thing as it once was, because they're trying to avoid it. So now they, at least from what I read, it seemed like if he does get convicted of this very specific charge, he'll go to a specific prison. I could be wrong. They could be wrong. But
I think you're wrong.
He was pointing.
There's certain states that will put down judgment. California's one where you could almost get away with that and just pay off a fine. That's how fucked up California is right now.
Oh yeah. Well, there's still a possibility that he won't even go to prison. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty sick, you know.
But
where did you hear that? Where did you hear that?
There's a guy that I follow that he's actually from like Florida, and he lives in Oregon. He's pretty avid on like YouTube shorts and stuff like that. He's been in prison, in and out of prison, for most of his life. He's our age, you know, but you know, he spent 10 years in prison, and he's just upset about all the shit that's going on, like California and stuff like that, because all these, he's into it. He's like a very big advocator and a voice of people trying to rehab themselves and, you know, get better, you know, from, you know, being in prison or whatnot. So
yeah, we don't seem to be interested in that as a country. We really need to do better.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that California's pretty fucked up right now. I mean, with their laws and stuff like that, it's just crazy. And it's state by state, you know? I mean, that's the way it works. It's always been that way.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If all of the sexual predators were going to all of these bad prisons and in Gen Pop, then you'd think that they'd be getting killed all the fucking time. I know it happens, but
you don't wear like so you're a child predator. You don't go to prison when wearing a green shirt, so everybody knows you are.
I understand, but they
you have papers. You have papers that say why you're in prison, and a big list of, you know, basically your record. You carry that on you when you're in prison, and if people ask for to see your papers, you know, that's how they know.
Is that true? They give them to them. They have to carry them in prison to show the other prisoners.
I don't know about that.
No, it's their papers. They're papers for being stuck in prison. It's like if you're your cellmate. say you're in a cellmate with a biker, it's whatever, and he asks to see your papers, see what you're in there for.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if you're being real, like, oh shit, I don't really want to show you that.
Let me see your prison passport, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt. That's my butthole, bro. Hold on.
Whatever, dude. I'm just telling you what it is.
You're like,
I'm not a prison guy. I don't go to prison.
That's why I'm questioning it.
I'm not a prison guy.
I'm just saying. That's what from that one dude. That's how they find out. That's how they said it.
Yeah, for maybe fucking hey, who knows, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be an interesting thing to talk to someone who does have the answers to some of these questions. But anyway, we're at an hour. Anything else you guys want to throw out? Are we going to do a weird triv, or are we just rambling?
Yeah, I got one.
All right. Well, why don't we head on into it?
All right, let me pull it up here. Zip.
End with something lighthearted. And this is a rare all-child molestation quiz.
Yeah, weird. Totally unplanned, but
Assimilation's been a gross, disturbing week.
Oh man,
It's fucking weird though because I'm not friends with this guy. I was friends with him on Facebook. I deleted him when I found this shit out. But I waited a couple days to delete him because I was like, I gotta see if he posts something, because he wasn't in the jail blotter at first, and then he is now. I think.
Well, you're gonna have to tell us now, because if he's on mine, I want to delete him.
He deleted his face. Well, someone deleted his Facebook today because people were starting. It's a very, again, very recognizable name. And,
wow.
So people were going, and it was public, so people were able to start posting like, "Hope you burn in hell, pedo." You can look. There's an app for it, but you can just do a search online, sexual predators near me, and they'll pop up a little interactive map, like a Google map, and they are all fucking over in sleepy little Wenatchee. So try it in your little neck of the woods, folks. You never know who's living right next door.
Yeah, Dane Cook did a joke about that. And it was a real website. It was one of his whole, you buy the CD, whatever. It's one of his comedy things he did in New York. He was in Madison Square Garden, and he made a joke about he was watching Oprah, and Oprah, gave out this number to look out to find sexual predators that live next to you. And he's like, do not look it up, because when I did, and there was 12 in my apartment complex.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
that's common.
no way, is that real? And I tried it. And literally, it popped off at least 15 to 20, just like on your way up to Fancher Heights.
Yeah, there's about 8 within a mile radius of me.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Those are just the ones that got caught. Most of them don't. It's crazy.
And they have facial pictures. You could
it's got their mug
dots.
shots. It's got their address, their exact address, their history, when they got out of jail, when they committed the crime, how many, what level. Yeah. Check it out. You may wish you hadn't, but not knowing doesn't make them not there. Anyway, yeah,
ignorance is bliss.
let's have a little fun.
It's Weird Trivia with Christopher F. Hart, a man from Florida who thinks square shit in nature. Don't get me started on the goddamn brown hair. Weird trivia that might get Christopher fired.
All right, guys, let's play some weird trivia. Question. Yeah, thank you. Question 1. Pop star Ariana Grande did an interview recently where she was asked who her dream dinner guest would be, dead or alive. And her answer surprised some people. Who would Ariana Grande pick as a dream dinner guest? Pick the right one. Is it A, James Hetfield of Metallica?
Oh, yeah.
Is it
I
B,
think he'd be
Jeffrey Dahmer?
I feel like he'd be cozy to hang out with.
Yeah,
He
totally.
seems like a totally normal. He seems like somebody
Jeffrey
that'd be in my
Dahmer?
family.
Which one, dude?
Yeah.
You're talking about Hetfield?
I guess I could have.
Yes, both.
I feel like he'd be grand at a dinner party. Oh God! Didn't even mean that.
Here, take more of this butter, eat it. Oh, yes.
Grand at a dinner party.
You're going to be so fat.
All right, again, James Hetfield, Jeffrey Dahmer, Lizzie Borden, or Paul Rubens?
Oh, crap. I don't know who that is.
Pee-wee.
That's interesting.
Who?
I just watched a whole thing
Pee Wee
on
Herman.
Lizzie Borden.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Ariana Grande
Okay.
did an interview. Said one of her dream dinner guests would be this person: James Hetfield, Jeffrey Dahmer, Lizzie Borden, or Paul Rubens.
I don't know much about her other than her stint on iCarly. She doesn't seem weird
She's
enough
cute.
for Dahmer, but
She got an awesome
I don't
voice.
know, this made
She does.
headlines. Does she?
She's a
She
Seahawks fan too.
She should
Oh,
have a
God, she's a-
child named Taco.
Taco Grande.
Taco B. Grande. James Hetfield. Oh, she wouldn't have said Jeffrey Dahmer. That'd be too controversial, right? I mean, she's
Who's he new on that one?
she's not a
You know,
teenager though. She can say whatever the fuck she wants. Or Paul Rubens. That's tough.
Lizzie Borden.
I knew you already
Oh,
voted
yeah, I'll go with Lizzie Borden. Maybe she's into true crime, and that's an interesting case, horrifying case, and most people think that Lizzie did it, but she
Chop,
got
chop.
off. She got away with it.
Yeah.
But like everybody in the, she bought a house. She bought a house after she moved out of the murder house.
It was like 10 blocks away or something. It's still like within a walking distance of the murder house.
Yeah, spent the rest of her days pretty much just being a hermit because everybody in the town thought that she did it. And they just wouldn't really let her be. I'm gonna go with Lizzie, because the only reason that made me choose that is like maybe she just wants to sit down and ask her, did she fucking do it, or discern the tone of her voice when she tries to deny it.
John Mark.
I think it was her uncle.
I like Ron's logic. I was trying to think, like, I don't know. It seems like I don't know. James Hetfield it'd be cool to have dinner with him, I guess. But who would be more fun and interesting to have a dinner party with? Paul Rubens, I think.
Oh, I was really hoping you're going to go with Jeffrey after that setup.
No, I'm gonna go with that.
All right.
He apparently could be quite cordial.
Tasty, tasty. Please, let's baste you in some butter and cook you in the fire. Yeah, he eats people. You know?
He was so next level. Like, you just, no matter how many times you hear the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff, it's so much next level.
Oh, who?
It's like
Yeah.
Gacy, just one of these guys, and Geen. They're just like some people. They're not just sick; they are just on a different planet sick. Lyle, did you pick one?
I have not yet. I'm with John Mark on this. I think dude, Pee Wee Herman's fucking awesome. If he was in character as Pee Wee Herman.
I love that choice.
Why wouldn't you want to have fucking dinner with him, dude?
Yeah.
It's like, where's your bike, dude? Where's Large Marge? Have you seen her lately?
You can talk about so many things.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
weird
mean, he would
because-
just be wacky, you know?
Well, he was Pee Wee Herman, and that was such a definitive character, and it just was him. Yeah, he was in costume, a little bit of makeup, but it was him doing this cartoonish thing. It's so it defies all logic that he had such a successful film career after that in some like pretty heavy movies like Blow, and he was in a lot of comedies, but he was in a lot. He popped up in a lot of interesting roles.
Sure.
All the way up till his death.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd rather have James Hetfield, but
Did you
I'm
guys-
gonna go with Pee Wee Herman for.
Did you guys all watch that Dahmer series on Netflix? It came out a few
You know, I
years
watched
ago.
about the first half and I had to
I
give
did.
up.
It's
I did.
sickening.
I can't
watched
watch
it.
that stuff, dude. It
It's
kind of rots
sickening.
my brain. I can't.
It's rough,
Yeah.
but it's so good and so well done. And that actor
Yeah.
who's on American Horror Story, I can't think of his name.
Evan Peters.
He is so compelling. It's rough.
Yeah. Dude, I could watch shit like Ghost Hunters or whatever when they're going into like a murder house, or like you said, the Molly Hatchet whatever house.
Yeah, Molly Hatchet.
Lizzie Borden.
Molly
Lizzie
Hatchet.
Borden, Molly Hatchet. I don't know. Same thing.
Molly Hatchet.
Coast to coast, rocking in the
80s band.
I was always disappointed when I heard Molly Hatchet's
Hatchet.
music, because they had those great Frank Frazetta
Yeah.
kick-ass covers, and it's just like, oh, this
Yeah.
is going to be like the heaviest band of all time. But it was just kind of like
No.
bluesy, boogie, southern rock.
Yeah. Well, my point is like I don't have one. I forgot.
Yeah, you don't like the
Moving
super
on.
dark, realistic.
Oh yeah, no,
and
I
those are
could
real
watch
people.
like
Like, those are
Ghost.
real
Like if they
people
go
that, like-
into the house and they tell you the history about it, and they might have a little bit B-roll, with actors portraying the stuff that actually happened. But like, dude, the real shit that really happened, is fucking really fucking bad. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I honestly don't think it was Lizzie Borden. I think it was her uncle. A man had to do that to smash the fucking skull in like that.
Axe weighs a lot.
I don't know, though. Yeah.
Dude, it had to have been a man.
Especially if there's rage.
Jesus.
Well, I'm just saying, dude. Have you seen the pictures, like of him like laying on the fucking couch, and the girl, the mom that was upstairs? Dude, their skulls were completely crushed in.
Well, I think a woman can swing an axe still. I don't know, man.
And she was burly. I mean, she wasn't like skinny and petite.
I love that you can go to the Lizzie Borden house and stay there. It's a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
You can stay in the murder rooms, and they have the the autopsies were performed in the kitchen, and there's pictures of the autopsies being done in the kitchen.
I didn't know
kitchen.
that. That's
You're
fucked
sitting there
up.
eating your breakfast, looking at the photos of the bodies splayed on there. Yeah,
Oof.
it's pretty grim. Pretty. And that's been a thing for decades. Leah was there. I don't think she stayed the night, but they went there. I've got one of.
Well, I think what happened. I think the uncle did it, and I think Lizzie kind of helped him dispose of the bodies, or like maybe prop the bodies.
We did
That's
a whole
why she had
episode
blood on her
it back in the old
dress.
show, and there was definitely
Well, it's about
some
money.
wiggle room. Yeah. Well, they thought there was
Yeah.
a safe, but there was no safe.
Yeah, there was
wait,
a lot
am I confusing?
that was supposed to do about the murdering and then getting the money. But she got a huge chunk of it.
Yeah, I think I'm confusing.
Well, I mean, she bought that house.
You're
and then
confusing Lizzie
had her-
Borden and Molly Hatchet, Ron.
Oh yeah, in cold
Yeah.
blood. Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, man.
All right.
No, she bought a house and then had a semi of a ranch afterwards, after the parents were killed. So she got a good sum of money out of that.
She had a name for that house. I keep wanting to say Mary.
Yeah,
House,
it's just
but
down the
that's not
road.
it.
I mean, it really wasn't that far from the murder house.
Yeah, you can go visit that house too. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know if I ever got your answer and all that, buddy.
It was Pee Wee Herman.
Molly Hatchet.
Okay. John Mark, you went with
Molly Hatchet.
yeah. John Mark, you went with PB2, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Molly Hatchet
Question
is
two.
a great name, though. It is a great band.
The question 2 is about Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish fame. And before I get into it, I saw a fucking reel that just about killed me the other day, and it was an old 90s clip of Hootie and the Blowfish playing, and the text over the video just said, "Man, I miss the old Kanye." Because if you fucking look at old
They're
Darius
close.
Rucker, he looks like Kanye West, man. It's wild.
They're close.
Interesting.
I remember what you're
laughed hard.
talking about. I remember what you're talking about.
Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish released a memoir recently, and in that memoir, he told a story how about 20 years ago, he's already in Hootie and the Blowfish fame at this point. He nearly drowned when he was swimming in the ocean with a friend. He was swept out to sea by a powerful riptide, and he thought he was fucking done for. Like he got tired, and he's just getting further and further away. And he thought he was dying, and out of nowhere, his friend managed to burst through the water, grab him, and help him get to safety. Now, we all know who this person was. It's a famous friend of his. Who was it? Who saved Hootie and the Blowfish?
Let him drown.
When it feels like rain.
The water fill his lungs. Sorry. Bad taste.
Was it A, William Dafoe?
I'm something of a swimmer myself.
That's great. Try to do that for all these. Was it B, Woody Harrelson?
I can't possibly.
White man can't swim. I'll show you.
White man can't swim. Black man can't swim. Yeah. That sounds
Was
racist.
it C, Kevin Costner?
Ooh, the bodyguard. Oh, this was after he was Hootie. He was already
Yeah,
famous.
it's post Hootie.
Okay. All right. Famous friends.
Or is it D, Eddie Money?
It's been so long I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, neither did fucking Hootie. You know.
last thing I remember there, Eddie Money with his golden hair swimming out my way.
I've got 2 breaststrokes to paradise.
If you could walk on water, we wouldn't be in this mess today. Okay. If you could walk on water, then I'd still be on the shore. Oh God, there's no way Eddie Money saved Hootie
I don't know, Ron.
from the Blowfish. Okay. I'm gonna need a recap, I think.
Okay. William Dafoe.
All right.
Or Willem Dafoe, excuse me. Woody Harrelson. Kevin Costner. Or Eddie Money.
Fuck wants to be friends with Hootie. They all seem too cool for Hootie.
Too cool for Hootie.
Like, no offense,
Oh,
but
fuck.
I don't know. That shit drove me crazy. It still drives me crazy. I still have those stupid songs stuck in my head. And it reminds me of when I worked at Godfather's and was dating a shitty human being. So I can't put all the blame on Hootie. And I know his name isn't actually Hootie. I guess I'm just gonna. I'm really tempted to chase the money herring, but I feel like you look for these, you set an alarm, you wait for them, and this happened so long ago. This had to have popped up on your
Maybe.
on your
Maybe
fish
not,
finder,
Yeah.
your blowfish.
Search your
finder.
heart.
I think I'm gonna go with Woody Harrelson because he's such an odd dude that there's probably no one you could tell me that he was friends with that could shock me because he's just a kooky dude. So I just complete guess. Woody and Hootie.
All right. John Mark.
How many hoodies Woody? No, okay.
Little Woody could hoot. I was leaning towards Woody Harrelson myself.
Okay, I will put you down for a B as well.
You think he called him Woody when he was together?
Woody.
Well, because of that movie that made so much money, Old Waterworld. I'm thinking Costner probably.
Yeah, he's got web
Yeah,
toes,
he had
right?
gills, didn't he?
Yeah. He got had
web
He knew how to
gills and
swim, man.
Maybe he didn't have gills. I feel like he
He
had
learned how to
gills.
swim.
He put on his Mad Max uniform and went out there and saved him.
We'll always
I'll put you down for a
save
cuss.
you. Yeah, you can see him pull him out of the water, all bodyguard like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Sycamore
almost went,
Waterworld,
I almost went with K-Cos.
Okay, Gus. Question 3 is a listener-submitted question. Not only submitted, but completely written by. All of the story and the answers here are written by the lovely TJ. We're going to make this worth 2 points.
Oh, nice.
And,
Double deuces.
Yeah. You got it, Lau?
Yeah,
you got it
I
ready?
don't know if I can I?
Do it.
Double deuces.
Okay.
Double points.
I mean, it wasn't your best work, but
For 2 points.
yeah, I mean,
The Daily Dub.
yes.
Yep.
Finally.
No, that's now we're talking.
Felt right.
Yeah.
One of those. I don't
Now
know.
we're back in
Pulled me
business,
right
baby.
back
Way to
into
knock
the
the rust off, Lau.
It's been a while, man. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
I know, man. I get it. Okay, and if you at home want to send me over one of these, I love it, man. I'm lazy as fuck, so the more work you can do for me, the better.
Yeah.
Christopher at excuse me, it's been so long. Christopher.bazaar@gmail.com or find us on Facebook. So send us a note that way. Whatever, just do it. All right. Which of the following is not a real brand of alcohol that you can buy? 3 of them are real, and 1 is made up. Which one is not real? Is it A, butt wine?
I don't drink butt wine.
That's right.
Is it B, foreskins wine?
That's
What are we
even-
doing?
I don't know.
One of those is
Already
already
you're torn.
One of those has to already be true.
Is it C, the abomination known as candy corn whiskey?
Sure.
Oh, that to me, all that sweet bullshit whiskey flavored whiskey stuff tastes like candy corn.
Like
May
Fireball.
as well call
Fireball,
it candy
yeah.
corn. Well, Fireball, I actually
brown sugar, peanut butter.
Fireball,
fucking
I think
whatever.
is decent because it's so strong on the cinnamon that you don't taste that. It's
Well,
that-
no, that's antifreeze, by the way.
it's all, but that, yeah, corn. It tastes exactly like candy corn. Never really put that together.
Or is it D, polygamy porter?
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Well, this is
Again,
tough.
I need a 6-pack for
Only-
me and my wives.
only one of these you can't purchase. Which one is it? Butt wine, foreskins wine, candy corn whisk, or polygamy port?
Speaking of polygamy, I forgot to say, I started watching Sister Wives, and holy shit, it is
yeah, it's
fascinating.
It's pretty decent.
God, butt wine, foreskin. Well, foreskin something. candy corn and polygamy.
Polygamy port.
Oh, God. I feel
One
like
of 'em
butt
is not.
wine is so pungent that no one
It
would
is.
want to pour it. I'm going to go with
I've had
butt
it.
wine. I
gonna go
bet
with
you
butt
have.
wine.
Oh, trust me,
Alright.
this is a pungent wine.
Mm.
Pour you another glass?
6
No?
a.m. A
Nope.
good hour. Hold on.
No, I'm sober now for life. For I have dined on honeydew and drank of the butt wine.
The bud wine.
What would butt wine be, one wonders?
Why does it smell like cheese? Bud wine.
John Mark.
Yeah, I'm going with A also.
Bud wine.
John Mark and I have a lot of similars here.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing is like, you know, it is kind of a thing, apparently, to ingest wine from your butt to get
The
drunk.
old butt
faster.
chug. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny you
so
say that.
that's-
But
Yeah, have you
That,
guys
well,
ever
it's a
butt chugged?
thing.
What'd you
It's a
say?
thing. I would never do it,
Have
but
you
I
ever?
know it's a thing.
it's funny you guys
So-
are talking about butt chugging right now because my next question has
Butt
there's a
chug.
butt chugging element to it.
Really? Yeah, we are in a
Wow.
simulation.
I also saw a butt chugging element open up for Fatboy Slim in '99, and holy shit!
Butt
That's crazy.
chugging, butt chugging.
Butt chugging. I'm gonna go with the foreskin one. I don't think that's
Okay.
real.
All right. Okay. Lastly,
Could be a
Deadpool
fruit
and
pun
Wolverine.
though, like the skin of peach, skin
yeah,
of cherry.
it could
It's
be.
gonna great.
Yeah. Skin of my
That's
nuts.
what I was thinking. 4 different kinds of grape skins.
Mhm.
I did
Foreskin.
dip my foreskin in
Such a
every
cocktail.
bottle before I send it out.
Deadpool and Wolverine released this weekend. Did anyone else see it?
Ooh, no.
Nope.
I didn't know that.
I went and saw it last night, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I will say this:
I want to go tomorrow.
it's a really fun fucking movie.
Fuck yeah.
The story is fine. Like it's not a world beater of a story that like shatters MCU or whatnot, but
They never are.
fuck, man, like you've seen Hugh Jackman in the yellow outfit, and they intentionally don't show you him in the cowl, you know, the helmet that we've all seen in comics and
Yeah.
cartoons. They don't show it, but when he puts it on, I just fucking was so happy. I don't know how to describe it. I was just leaning forward, smiling, going, "Yes!"
Well, you know, that's
How the fuck
That's
old
the
is
last-
he now? He's pretty old to be playing it.
yeah. Well, he's not going to be
in
doing
his
it
late
anymore.
50s, I think. But yeah, well, who knows? If Disney money's coming in now.
Mm.
I mean, like it was.
He said
fucking-
it was his last. He said he wasn't.
I
gonna
mean,
do it
he
anymore.
said that 3 times now. Let's be real. I mean, like I do believe it will be his last, but really fun fucking movie. If you-
a minute. I'm Wolverine again.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't want him to. It's just that's what he said.
It's hard to imagine anyone. Has anyone else done a Wolverine?
I don't think so.
I thought one popped up somewhere along the line, but maybe I'm wrong.
I can't
Wow,
think
yeah,
of
that's a
anything
hell
anyone
of a
that's done it in
character,
live
one
action,
character career.
dude.
While
I
still
mean,
doing
like, and
other
you read
things,
it-
of course.
and he redefined what that character
Yeah.
its icon. Like when you think of just like Robert Downey Jr. did for Iron Man, like you think of Wolverine,
Yeah.
a lot of people think of Hugh Jackman, you know. Like
That's true.
who-
That's true.
okay.
Well, Peter Parker, you know, Spider-Man.
I don't know if you guys have seen the first 2 movies, but if you haven't, there's a lot of really raunchy jokes in them, right? This
Yeah,
is
I'm
R-rated.
surprised.
These are R-rated movies, and so this is the first R-rated movie I believe that has been issued by the MCU. You know, this is a big deal. This is Disney, bitch. The mouse is letting this happen.
Well, now Mouse owns
Oh,
everything.
what
anyway,
was
so.
what was Deadpool? Was that not a
No, that
Marvel?
was
It wasn't
before-
officially MCU.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Marvel, but not MCU.
Yeah.
Huh. I never
Was it
understood
Sony?
that.
Well, I can't remember. One of the
I
other.
think it might have been. Yeah. I can't
Yeah,
remember,
so
but-
so like not like you don't see Deadpool play with the the Avengers at all. Like they don't make cameos. There's no intertwining stories or anything.
Huh.
And then this is the first time he was able to do that. But Kevin Feige, who's like the gatekeeper for all things Marvel, and I believe maybe not Star Wars, but had to explain to a room full of Disney execs what a certain joke meant in the movies because they didn't understand it. What did Kevin Feige find himself talking about in a room full of fucking, I'm sure, white old execs at Disney? Was it A, what getting a chubby meant?
Well, that's not proper talk.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
Was it B? If I wasn't clear on my question, because they had to talk about what this certain joke meant in the movie before they would allow it
explain
to
the
be
joke.
released. Was it B, a joke about butt chugging?
Well, it's hard to not chase that now, but we'll see.
Was it C, a joke involving the verbiage nose candy? Or D, a joke about pegging?
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
What did Kevin Feige have to get up and explain to a group of Disney execs for this movie? Again, chubby, butt chugging, nose candy, or pegging?
Butt chugging. I'm tempted to go with that, but the shout out and the call and the warning ahead might have been something I don't know. You'd have to do it, I guess. Otherwise, it would be suspicious if you didn't say, oh, by the way, there's a butt chugging thing here. I'm still tempted to go with it, but I really enjoy pegging, and I only saw the first.
There's your stinger.
Get that drop.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You listening, AI?
Hey, man.
Go ahead.
Make it a fucking marshmallow. Let your freak flag fly, baby. Just relax, Ron.
Yeah, listen.
I really like that pagan. Ooh, yeah.
So are you going?
Talk. I'm going to go with pagan.
I know how much you like pagan, Ron. Are you going with pagan?
I'm going to go with pagan. I only saw the first Daredevil movie, but that seems like a joke that could have popped up in that.
You just said Daredevil movie.
I always confuse those two.
You talk about pegging, all the blood goes from one area to another in your body.
Not in my head. I know the two different looks, but I always confuse the names in my head.
Yeah, they're similar. They both kind of have a similar...
red suits.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ron's going with pegging. Who's shocked? Lyle. No, excuse me, John Mark.
Yeah.
I'll also go with D.
Excellent.
Really?
Butt chugging.
Yeah, you will.
Butt chugging. Yeah.
You can just drink that, friend. It's supposed to. Is it? I guess would you pass a breathalyzer test if you were drunk from butt chugging? What's the point?
Yeah, because
I think you get drunk faster is all.
Oh, is that it?
It gets in your bloodstream faster. So technically, you probably would like.
How fucking fast do you need to get drunk?
Fast, Ron.
I feel like if you pound some whiskey, you can get drunk pretty fast.
You're gonna have to call it like.
I need to be drunk. Funk. Now. Success.
I
can't tell how much I poured. Don't pull it out. Oh, Jesus.
It's so gross.
it's fermenting up
I better
there.
go poop some of this out.
My stomach's empty, but my butthole's full. Yeah, I don't.
That's got a stingy wingy, one way or the other. But pushing that out, like to poop it out, so you get rid of a little.
What do you think the worst thing to butt chug would be? Like worst liquor?
God.
Tequila, right?
Oh God.
Moonshine.
151.
They don't call it moonshine for nothing, son.
It would have to be
Everclear,
Everclear, or it would have to be like Yukon Jack, maybe.
Rumplemints. Have you guys had Rumplemints? That's
I
a
can't
drink
believe
we
you guys
get.
are on Team Moonshine with me.
Why does my fart smell so minty?
Well, that ain't bad.
Okay. Lyle, what are you gonna go with?
If you went peppermint, maybe
pleasant
your
for everyone.
breath might be better.
Poopermint.
Does that affect your breath when you butt guzzle?
If you're eating ass.
Yeah, right.
Poopermint schnips.
Yeah, I never go ass to mouth.
Go bottle to ass.
Bottle that?
Just drink it.
That's more of those.
I remember one time, like, there was some Motley Crue documentary where Tommy Lee was talking about where they're all getting fucked up and they were shooting vodka into their veins. And at one point, they're like, wait, what are we doing? We could just drink it.
God.
Woof.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go with shit. It's not the butt guzzle. Oh, the pegging. I think that's well, I'm thinking for like 40 or 50 or maybe even 60-year-old men, like that are like say Christians and like don't really know stuff. They probably figure out what a butt guzzle is. They probably figure out the rest. But they're like
Shit, we were
pegging.
butt guzzling
Is
in
that
the
a
20s.
woman? Is that Peggy?
Yeah, Peggy who?
Is that Peggy down the hall that gives me coffee in the morning? It's
Peggy up the hall.
Oh, Peggy.
Peg, you're gonna Ron distracted again. Stop using that word.
I just enjoy it. Not
Get
butt
him
guzzling.
excited.
Oh, pegging.
Pegging. She
I like
loves
pegging, so
wait. I don't do that.
butt guzzle. So you're going? What are you going with, Lyle?
I'm going with the pagan, man.
Pagan, you got it. Okay. All right, let's go over the answers.
Peggy the
see how you
Pegger.
guys did here. Question 1. Pop star Ariana Grande did an interview recently, and she was asked who her dream dinner guest would be, dead or alive. Her answer came out fast and with some trepidation, perhaps, because she said Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, wow.
And I think this
who?
was not too long after that Netflix show you exactly talked about, Ronster, came out, and I think there was a lot of buzz about him at the time, so it wasn't surprising, but was surprising at the same time. Old Hootie, old Kanye, I mean, has a memoir coming out. Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish, and he told a story about how 20 years ago he thought he was dying and he was being swept out to sea, but his good buddy Woody Harrelson came to his rescue and drug him to safety.
Yeah, I can see, with that big old nose and that crooked smile. Hey, you need some help?
You thinking of Woody Allen?
Yeah,
No shit.
No, but that'd
Does
be
Woody
funnier.
Harrelson have a big nose? I don't picture him having a big nose.
Woody Harrelson's got a busted nose, I think. Right? A little crooked, a little busted.
Yeah, you might
Are
be
you
right.
thinking of Owen Wilson?
No, I'm not. No.
I can picture kind of a weird nose now that you mention it.
Wow, Hootie! Wow, you're getting far out there.
Wow, where's your little fins? You lost your little wings out there. Wow.
Ron John Mark got that correct for a point apiece. Question 2 was a listener submitted question. Thank you again, TJ. I appreciate this.
He does have a distinct nose, yeah. Anyway.
We were talking about real alcohols you could purchase. And what did you call it? What did you call the butt chug again, Lau? The butt guzzle?
Butt guzzle.
Butt guzzle.
Oh, fuck. Let's see. You can buy a bottle of wine from Foreskins Winery.
Okay.
You can buy candy corn whiskey.
Oh.
You can buy polygamy porter, but you sure shit can't buy butt wine. You sniff that one out, Roster.
Pretty early in the morning,
And John
TJ,
Mark
to get
for
butt
2.
wine over the roster. Oh, and John Markster.
Yeah, 2 points a pop for both you guys there, putting you at 3 apiece. Lau, there's still question 4, baby. Let's see what happens here.
What was that? Saturday Night Live thing with the whiskey. It was wine.
I don't know, man.
No, it was good. It was what was it? What was it? My nuts or something? Or balls? No, maybe it was. I'm thinking about Christmas and the balls, like meatballs.
Oh, the sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls. But they had
Alec
one for
Baldwin,
wine, didn't they?
Sweaty balls. Oh, by the way, Alec Baldwin, over the break, this whole court case got thrown.
Oh,
out.
yeah.
I was following that. I was kind of getting into it. I was like, man, this is a crazy case. And then suddenly they were just all thrown out. Yeah, fascinating. Anyway.
Lastly here, question 4, Deadpool and Wolverine released this weekend. And before it was released, Kevin Feige had to get into a corporate meeting scenario and explain a certain joke. And the joke was about pegging. Nice. Ron, John Mark, Lau, you all got that correct.
Peg
but that means we have a motherfucking tie here. Let me pull up my little tiebreaker file, see what I got. Okay. This is good. John Mark and Ronster and Lau, if you want to play along, please do, buddy. The first ever speeding ticket was cited for going this many miles per hour. I don't have the details. I heard it on a podcast and quickly wrote it down, and I didn't verify it, but I'm pretty sure they did. So there you go. I believe it was in the like 1920, maybe 1930 at the latest, maybe earlier than that even. First ever speeding ticket. Let me just fucking look it up now. I'm giving you guys. I know the speed. Whoever gets closest gets it. Send it on over.
So we're just guessing a speed.
You're just guessing the speed. Let's see. Oh, okay. Excuse me. I was off. 1896.
Oh,
1896. Oh, wait. So we're not talking about a car.
We are.
Were cars?
Steam car.
At the time, cars were new.
I do want to
And the
change my
speed
answer
limit-
if it's okay, knowing that.
Yeah, you can change it.
So I was
sure.
thinking the 20s.
Even 1920s. You should say they're just turning around from steam
I'm
cars.
not changing it by much, but
Gas powered.
Okay. I have Ronster. I have John Mark. I have
I'll
Lyle.
give mine, I think. Yeah.
Lyle went with 15 miles per hour. Miles per hour, excuse me. That was my MPG. Ronster went with 15 miles per hour.
Oh wow.
John Mark said 10 miles per hour.
Is this like? Are we doing Price is Right rules yet?
No.
Close.
$1.
The speeding ticket was issued for going 8 miles per hour.
Oh,
John Mark.
dang.
Closest.
So
He wins.
8.
John,
How would they detect back then?
That's a great question. I mean, maybe they'd paste them in their car.
A laden swallow.
The average speed limit at that time was 2 miles per hour to keep people and horses safe.
Wow.
You better slow down.
Oh yeah, Arnold here. He was pursued by a police officer on a bicycle for 5 miles.
He's like, fuck you, copper. I'm out of here.
Over.
Fuck your face.
I'm getting very tired, you see. You see.
Ding, 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 ding.
Can't stop
What
my
part of
motor,
ding
my
ding ding do you not
notice.
understand, sir?
Well, Jean-Marc, congratulations. You're back on top, baby. I think you were on top from the last time too.
The lowest high-speed chase in history.
Right.
We passed him on a bike and waited for him. Everyone has a roadblock. 8 miles per hour, too fast, sir.
Mm-hmm. Too fast, too furious.
It's hard to make your car go that slow, just
On purpose?
in drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, live and learn. 1895, driving around in cars. Those must have been some jalopies going crisp 2 miles per. How fast do people walk? I feel like you could briskly walk faster
About
than that.
5 miles, I think, probably. Right?
I don't
If you're a speed walker, I
Don't really
guess
know.
you could probably do 5.
Let's look it
I would
on
think.
up. Look it on over. Average walking speed is
It's probably
3 to 4 miles per. So yeah, even a slow elderly person is probably outpacing a car back then. That's a funny thought.
Well, he's speeding and all. He's probably got like 10.
Pedal
miles
to
an
the
hour,
wood, Harold.
probably.
We'll be reaching speeds of 8. Ding 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 ding. ding.
Hold on to your uterus.
That's when they used to have like candles and for the headlights and light them up.
They didn't need a siren light. They just waved. Just waved at him like, "Hey, you, the guy that I'm looking in the eye. I'm practically in your car at this point."
You pull over.
Well, good job, guys.
Yeah. We should get...
Well, a horse would probably go like 30 miles an hour.
I was gonna say, yeah, horse is definitely
full-
average.
Feels that way.
horses
God, I don't fucking know.
way
Remember how
faster than
fast
that.
bears run? We were shocked to learn. 'Cause we were like, we can probably outrun a bear. Nope.
We could not outrun a bear.
No.
Not a polar bear, not a.
Well, the fucking
grizzly bear.
cheetahs, or I can never remember. It's like a cheetah or jaguar. One of those. It's like 70 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, something. They can't do it for long.
Well, it's sprint, yeah.
But
it's
for
scary.
a period of time, they could outpace you on the freeway, and the fact that an animal that has claws that can rip through you can do that is so fucking terrifying and hopeless. Because it can also climb.
Yeah, you can't hide. If you're in the woods, you wouldn't be able to hide.
Nope.
You would think you'd be able to climb a tree and get away from them. No, they'll climb right up that tree and fucking yank you down.
May as well be in a 2 mile per hour jalopy.
Yeah.
I got to mention before we get out, since we last spoke, I got to interview and meet and hang out with and watch perform Chris Novoselic from Nirvana.
Yeah.
You guys heard about this little outfit from Aberdeen called Nirvana? That was a fucking
I think I have.
that was a trip. And I had kept him longer than he requested because I just had a couple more questions I had to ask him. But the interview was over the phone. He wasn't in town. We had to get this in the comment. And then they played a couple weeks ago at the Performing Arts Center down here with my friend Mark Pickerel from the Screaming Trees, and they did a Screaming Trees tune and some of the Nirvana covers. It was fucking awesome.
I heard the opening band was almost better than them.
A lot of people preferred them. I mean, it was a great fucking show. The opening band was just
great talent,
a more high energy band.
Yeah.
The Chris Novoselic bona fide band stuff was more sort of grungy, and then they had a couple of slowdowns, and Chris played the accordion like he did on Unplugged. It was awesome, and hanging out with him was super cool, and he's fucking huge. He's a giant man. He's 6'7", and I got a lot of tall friends, and it was funny to see them. There was a meet and greet afterward, and a lot of people getting their photos with him, and it's like all those tall friends of mine to look up to him.
Small.
Don't see that very often, but yeah, he's trying to start a new political party called the Cascade Party in Washington State, fairly centrist party. It's interesting because he was a Democrat, and I think he probably leans a little left more than anything, but he's definitely got some conservative values, and he was a Democrat for a lot of years, and he just got disenfranchised with all of the mainstream politics, but he has no interest with running for president. But it's interesting because I didn't even know you could start I didn't know there was such thing as a statewide political party. But here's the stupid thing, and this is one of the things that he was trying to fight with voting reform, is this one rule that says in order to have a bona fide political party, you have to put somebody up on the presidential ticket. And, you have to have a president and a vice president candidate on your ticket. And he's like, well, we don't want to do that. And this law is stupid and antiquated, and it's a statewide political party. So even if you did put a presidential candidate on the ticket, only Washington citizens could vote for it. And I'm not too swell at math, but I don't think they could possibly win. So he was trying to fight that, and he's trying to change a lot of things. And I don't agree with a lot of or all of his politics, but a lot of it made a lot of sense to me, and I found it interesting. And so he was doing these shows and calling them quote unquote political conventions. And to do that, he had to do some political work. And he's trying to get all these signatures for the petition to make this a bona fide party. That's why it's called the Bona Fide Band. And it's just a pop-up band. It only existed during July because campaigning season is over. I haven't heard yet if he got all the signatures he needed, but what he did was and he didn't even advertise this. He didn't even tell me when we were having the conversation. I just went to the venue early because I was going to meet Joel. The whole reason this show happened was Joel, who listens to the show. He's the one that brought Lou Barlow from Dinosaur Jr. in Thibodaux to Radar Station back in the day. And he reached out to me saying that, he was seeing these shows around town and that around the state. And he was teaming up with Mark Pickerel. We both knew Mark Pickerel. I've been friends with Mark for 20 years now, and Joel's gotten to know him as being part of the record expo that Joel puts on every year. And so he took a shot and made some phone calls and worked with Mark, worked with Chris, and worked with the pack and got the show here. So, nice. And then that led to me getting the interview, which nobody else did an interview with Chris in the entire Central Washington state that I saw. I'm sure they tried, but it took, I didn't think I was going to get it. I barely got it. I had like a day and a half to get that interview before we were going to press. I'd already filled those pages with a plan B because I didn't think we were going to get it. And then he called. When he texted, is like, Ron, Chris Novoselic, I'll be calling in a minute. And so I programmed his number in so that when he called, I got a screenshot of Chris Novoselic. Chris Novoselic is calling. When I answered him like, hello? He's like, hey, Ron, this is Chris Novoselic. And my exact response was, hi, Chris Novoselic from Nirvana. I was nervous as shit for about maybe 3-5 minutes, and then I just got into it. I've done so many interviews, and then it just, it felt like doing a podcast. But to make it these little political things, he just set up a little room, and whoever happened to walk by, he would do a little speech and talk about what he's doing. And I just happened to walk by, and I saw Joel in there and a couple other friends, and I peeked my head in. And he's like, oh, hi, come on in. It's just Chris standing up in this tiny little conference room at the Performing Arts Center. And I sat down and like, oh, hi, I'm Ron. I interviewed you for the Comet. And he's like, oh, great. Yeah, have a seat. Had a seat. And 5 of us learned about Chris Novoselic's political party in a little room, and then shot the shit with him after that. And then I went backstage to get some autographs and had the whole band sign my the cover of the Comet that we did the story on. It was a pretty thrilling little weekend for the Ronster.
Oh yeah, put that in a shadow box on the wall.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what was funny is that a lot of people were doing their own posters for these shows, and they didn't like most of what they're seeing. They really liked the poster that I did. It was a very basic poster, but
you always do good
they're
stuff.
like, we like this poster, and Chris wanted to use it for the future shows, including the one that they did in Bremerton.
Oh,
And so he called me, and he was like, after the interview, and we talked several times after that, just trying to, he was hiring me at that point to be a graphic designer. He was like, we need this info to be in it. And then I sent him that, and he's like, I'll pay you for the price of whatever your full page ad is in the comment. And I was like, all right, well, that's $300. And he sent me a check for $300. But I
wouldn't even cash it. I'd stick it in that shadow box.
Well, he forgot to sign it. He sent it about a week before the show, but he forgot to sign it. And I'm like, this is so fucking funny, because I was going to have him sign some of my records anyway. The first thing I'm going to hand over to him for him to sign will be the check that he forgot to sign, which was a fun thing to do backstage. You had to laugh at that. But it was hard for me to cash that check. Yeah, it was a cool little memento, but I couldn't get my mobile deposit to work. But I was talking to Mark Pickerel about that, and he's like, look, dude, I get it. Like, it's Nirvana. Like, I've been playing with this dude for a few weeks now, and I still have to, kind of be careful around him, not to be like, so remember when you guys were in Nirvana and stuff? And, like, digging for stories. He'll talk about it, but he just doesn't want to be a pest. And,
right.
And they're focusing on other things right now. But he was telling me that, Mark Pickerel gets royalties from the Nirvana box set, because he's on a couple of those recordings that they did with Mark Lanigan. It was Chris Novoselic and Kurt Cobain. They released that on I think the Lights Out Nirvana box set. So, and when I interviewed Mark years ago for the Comet, I asked him if he gets more royalties from the Nirvana box set or his entire career for the Screaming Trees, and he said it's not even close. The royalties from the Nirvana box set, and just being on there for a couple of songs. So he gets royalty checks from Nirvana. I guess it's David Geffen, wherever that music is licensed at this point. And he said he does mobile deposits, and he keeps the checks to give to his friends as keepsakes, which I thought was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Nirvana royalty checks. Anyway, cool ass fucking week. And another shout out to Joel for making that all happen, because that was kind of it was a super last minute thing. From the time that it was really in the works to the time that the show happened was just a couple of weeks. And then, scheming to get the interview and getting everything set up wasn't a lot of time. And to get 400 people to show up for a show that you only have a couple weeks to promote was pretty major too. Fantastic. You didn't go to the show, did you?
No, I had the kid.
Yeah, John. He came to Tacoma just a couple days ago, John Mark.
I know. What's funny is I was in Tacoma maybe a month ago for the pinball show,
mm-hmm.
and I went to The Rock, which is like a pizza joint, and I walked in, and I swear to God, he was sitting outside having a meal with a couple of people.
Probably
and I was like, we sat down. I was like, I think that was Christopher Selleck from fucking Nirvana. And Ember was like, I don't even know what he looks like. I was like, he's a big dude, and I think it's him in a mustache.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't seen
him
him for a while, he's balding and has a mustache, but he's still got the same look. Somehow. But what's funny is that he flies his own plane. He's got a 1970s something Piper.
He's just asking for it, man.
Little
Are you kidding
plane.
me?
It's just like a little I think it's a 2-seater, maybe a 4-seater. And he flies
Tesla.
it. I don't know if he flies it to all the shows, but when he first was meeting with Mark Pickerel, he flew it to the little Ellensburg airport, and they had a talk and tried jamming around, and that's when they decided, yeah, we can play, because they hadn't played together since the Mark Lanigan solo album in 1989. They kept in touch, and Pickerel and all those guys were friends. He's got tons of Kurt Cobain stories and stuff, and they all toured together, and they were all part of that scene. But so he hops on a plane every now and again, and so he could pop up all over Washington. He lives on a farm down in southwest Washington. There's a show on, I think it's Paramount. It's Geddy Lee from Rush. He did a show called Our Bass Player's Human 2 or something like that. And he just goes around interviewing other well-known bassists, and follows and goes to their home, sees their daily life. And so the first one is at Chris Novoselic's farm, and it's awesome. You guys should watch it. He goes flying with him. And then he goes to Les Claypool's, and who else? I'm spacing some of the other well-known bassists. But anyway, it's a fun show. Wholesome. Well, let's get on out of here. Yeah, let's try to record a twofer next week so we can keep on targ and at least miss as few episodes as
I'm going to do my darndest, but we open our bar next week, and I presume it's going to be it's just been, I'm dead tired.
Well, maybe why don't you just not plan on bringing any news quiz? I can bring a couple games and you can just belly up and
I'll try.
Just kick back. And I know what you're saying, though. It's even doing that. It's a commitment, and sometimes you just want to chill.
I might be able to, I got the kid Monday and Tuesday, so I can't be out doing much with the bar anyway, so maybe we can sneak on one of those nights.
Well, I thought about putting up some of my interview with Charles Peterson, the photographer that we started the conversation talking about. He was such a great fucking... I mean, Chris was a great interview, but it was mostly about the political thing and the new band and stuff, and all the good shit I put into the Comet article, which is now online at thecometmagazine.com if you want to read it. But Charles Peterson, I haven't posted that interview yet. We talked for almost 2 hours, and he just got so many cool stories about being in Seattle, and he was just friends with Mudhoney and the guys from Pearl Jam and Nirvana ended up taking him on tour, and they wanted him to basically be his photographer, and that's why almost all of the iconic photos of Nirvana that you can think of were taken by him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he just put out a new book that's all Nirvana stuff, and this guy's been one of my heroes for fucking years. And when I was on a phone call with Mark as we were dialing all this shit in for the interview, and then he got another call, and it was Charles, and they were talking a little bit, and then Charles ended that call by saying, all right, well, I got to go dig some shit up for Ron for the Comet. And just knowing that he knows me now and was digging shit up for my magazine was another fucking huge thrill. I know these seems like small things, but these are giants, hugely influential people in my world, and hugely influential people in the world. But, a lot of people don't know the name Charles Peterson, but look up Charles Peterson photos and you'll recognize every photo that pops up. He's a fucking legend. Super cool guy, too. Anywho, we'll do our best. We'll record when we can, and we'll just keep on trucking. Have a good week. Right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
I really enjoy pegging.